Close your eyes for a moment and imagine it is 1975. The sun is already warm in the morning. The air smells like cut grass and gasoline. A big station wagon or sedan is parked in the driveway. Its paint slightly faded, chrome still shining in the light. Suitcases are stacked near the trunk. Kids are buzzing with energy. Parents are doing that final walk through the house, checking doors, windows, and the stove one more time. For many families, this scene played out every summer. No flight tickets, no online bookings, just a car, a map, and hours of open road ahead. Today on Timeless Treasures, we are not just looking at a car. We are climbing back into the back seat of a 1975 family road trip to remember what those journeys felt like from a child's point of view. To a child in 1975, the family car felt less like a machine and more like a rolling living room. The seats were big and soft, often covered in vinyl that stuck to your legs in the heat. The dash was a landscape of knobs, chrome trim, and maybe a fake wood panel or two. Up front, there might be a small fan clipped to the dashboard, dangling air fresheners, and a paper map folded and refolded until the creases turned white. In the middle, there was always the good seat and the unspoken rules about who got it. In the back, the floor became storage for snacks, comic books, pillows, and sometimes the family dog. No screens, no USB ports, just windows, imagination, and the sounds of the road. From the back seat, all of this felt huge, like your own private world on wheels. Every road trip began long before the engine started. There was the list on the kitchen table: clothes, toothbrushes, snacks, camera, film, maybe a thermos for coffee. Parents made sure the trunk was packed just right. Heavier bags at the bottom, cooler near the edge, so sandwiches and drinks were easy to reach at roadside stops. Kids had their own priorities. Which toy to bring, which comic books, which cassette tapes if the car was fancy enough to have a player. Goodbyes were said to neighbors. Windows were checked again. The house key turned one last time. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. Doors shutting, seatbelts, or not, depending on the family rules. The driver's hand on the key, the engine coming to life. The trip was no longer an idea. It was happening. From the back seat, the world looked different. The front seats were like a barrier, framing your view of the road. You could see just enough of the driver's hands on the wheel, the outline of their shoulders, and the dashboard glowing softly. Out the side windows, the landscape moved in layers. Closest to you, the blur of grass, guardrails, and road signs whipping past. A little further away, houses and farms drifting by more slowly. Beyond them, distant hills and clouds that seemed to barely move at all. Sometimes you pressed your forehead against the glass, feeling the vibration of the car through your skin. Sometimes you lay down with your head on a pillow, watching the sky go by through the rear window. That rear window, framed by the curve of the roof and the reflections of the back glass, was a movie screen that played only one film: the road you had already traveled. Hours on the road had to be filled with something. Snacks were the first line of defense. Sandwiches wrapped in foil or wax paper, biscuits in crinkly packets, fruit rolling somewhere on the floor, and maybe a special treat, a soda or candy you did not get every day. Then came the games, counting different colors of cars, spotting license plates from faraway places, the classic I spy with my little eye, or making shapes out of clouds. If there were siblings, there were alliances and battles. A line drawn down the middle of the seat that no one was allowed to cross. Arguments about who got the window, who was taking up too much space, who was breathing too loudly. But every now and then, a fragile peace would settle in. Everyone chewing quietly, eyes on the road, or on a comic book, sharing the same small space without words. A moving chaos of crumbs, giggles, and temporary treaties. Road trips in 1975 were measured not just by miles, but by the stops along the way. Gas stations were more than fuel. They were little islands of activity. Bright signs, racks of maps, rows of oil cans, mechanical air pumps with long rubber hoses. Parents stretched their legs, checked the tires, and cleaned the bugs off the windshield with a squeegee and a plastic bucket of water. Kids raced to the restroom, then explored the small shop, eyes wide at the candy, postcards, and strange souvenirs. Sometimes there was a roadside diner next to the pumps, smelling of coffee, fried food, and something sweet baking in the back. These stops broke the trip into chapters. You remembered them later as the place where we saw that funny dog, or the station where the rain started. Little punctuation marks in the long sentence of the highway. Every great road trip has a soundtrack. In 1975, it might have been the radio, fading in and out as you passed from one region to another. Soft rock, disco, country, whatever the local station played that day. If your family had a cassette player, maybe there were only 3 or 4 tapes in the car, played so often you knew every note by heart. Between songs, you heard the hum of the engine, the hiss of the tires on the road, and the low murmur of adult conversation in the front. From the back seat, music blended with these sounds into something else. A warm, half-remembered audio wallpaper that still returns to you years later when you hear a certain kind of guitar, a certain drum beat, or just the steady whir of tires on a long, straight highway. There was a special magic to the night portion of a road trip. Streetlights became rare. The world outside the windows turned into a dark blur, broken only by the headlights of passing cars and the glow of the dash. Inside, voices grew softer. The air felt cooler. Blankets appeared from somewhere, draped over sleepy shoulders. From the back seat, your eyelids grew heavy as the car rocked gently over the small bumps in the road. You watched the red taillights ahead rise and fall like slow, steady comets. The radio played more quietly. Sometimes it was just the engine, a constant, comforting sound that seemed like it would go on forever. You did not know exactly where you were anymore. You only knew that your parents were in the front, the car was moving, and you were safe. At some point, you drifted off completely. When you woke up, the car was parked, the engine was quiet, and someone was whispering, "We're here." Arriving was more than just turning off the ignition. It was stepping out of the car into a different world. The air might smell like the ocean, like pine trees in the mountains, or like hot pavement in a new city. Legs felt wobbly at first after hours of sitting. Suitcases came out of the trunk, cooler lids opened, and everyone stretched, looking around with that strange mix of tiredness and excitement. For kids, the very first thing was to explore. The motel pool, the path to the beach, the nearby woods, the view from the balcony. The car, still ticking as it cooled, sat like a faithful dog that had just completed a long run. Tomorrow, it would be waiting in the parking lot, ready to carry everyone to the next small adventure. But for that moment, the road had finally turned into a place. Decades later, the details blur. We may not remember the exact route, the exact motel, or every stop along the way, but we remember how it felt. The smell of the car, the mixture of boredom and wonder, the sound of our parents' voices in the front, half heard through music and engine noise. We remember being small in a big world, yet carried safely through that world by a machine and the people we trusted most. Today, many of those 70s family cars are gone, or living quieter lives at car shows and in collections. But their greatest work was never just moving people from one town to another. It was stitching families together in long, shared hours of road and sky. If this journey back to a 1975 road trip stirred your own memories, leave a like, subscribe to Timeless Treasures, and tell me in the comments, where did your family car take you? And what do you still remember from the back seat? Because in the end, the real destination was not just a place on the map, it was the story you carried home with you.